Yes.
I've asked people.
Well, make them an offer they can't refuse.
What's that? The pay?
Good morning. Hi, this is Frank Messina, and I'm welcoming you to the December 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission. I have a couple of notices to read before we start. Please note, this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 29, 2023 signing of the acts of 2023 extending certain provisions of the COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law 3820 until March 31st, 2025. This meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may doing so by calling the phone number 508-945-4410. Conference ID 434-387-018 hashtag. Or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this meeting is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, despite our efforts, we may not be able to provide for real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. I have a cold. It was difficult getting through that. I've always interested when you read the first thing. It's on-demand viewing on a smartphone or tablet device. So if you have a flip phone, you can't listen in, right? Okay, here we go. All right, the first action for the start the meeting is a roll call. Bob Lear.
Here.
Nancy Barr is absent. Stephanie Hamilton.
Here.
Sandy Porter.
Here.
Janet Tennyson.
Here.
Robert Stevens.
Here.
I want to, and the chair is here, so we do have a quorum. I just want to remember, if I don't, later on in the agenda, I'd like to have a motion added to the agenda that we vote to make Robert a regular member. I don't think we ever did that, and then we formally have to request the select board, I believe, to make that change. And the reason bringing that up, this is the commercial now, we have 2 open alternate positions to the Chatham Historical Commission. And if you're interested at all, please notify myself or Christine Bassett at the annex, and we could appreciate someone being part of it. The requirement is being a resident of the town of Chatham and being interested in this beautiful town and keeping it the way it is. Thank you very much.
Frank, would you like me to make that motion?
Say again?
Would you like me to make that motion?
Yeah, well, we can do it right now. Go ahead.
I move that the Chatham Historical Commission move Robert Stevens from the position of alternate to a full-time regular member of the Chatham Historical Commission.
Second.
Second by Stephanie. Thank you very much. Any other comment, discussion? You okay with that, kid?
Sure.
All right.
I guess. A little late to ask.
Bob,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Bob, you can vote for yourself, yes? And the chair votes yes. Okay, thank you very much. And I will get out a piece of correspondence to the selectmen to ask that they make that motion. Okay, the next item on the agenda are our minutes of November 19, 2024. Once again, thank you, Annie. I think you've captured the essence of a somewhat long and potentially contentious meeting.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of November 19th, 2024 as is.
Second?
Second by Janet. No other comments? Bob?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
And Robert, I think you were absent, right?
Yes.
Yes, so
Yes.
you abstain, in case you're interested. And the chair votes yes. Thank you very much. I got something, right? All right. Okay, we have 5 or 6 applications. Hopefully, none of them are going to be too contentious, and so hopefully have a relatively straightforward and short meeting. So the first public hearing is a continuation of 24031, which was heard in accordance with Chapter 158, 38 Sandy Shores Lane. Paul, oh, there he is.
Morning.
Okay, I was looking at the television. Somebody said you weren't going to be here. So why don't you introduce yourself, Paul?
Paul Muldoon, SV Design, here representing the project at 38 Sandy Shoes Lane.
What did I say, shoes?
Shores.
Sure. Sorry. That's my excuse today. Sniffles, eye drops. Well, what we have here, and I'll let Paul say a few words, but the application was continued from the previous meeting, and the applicant agreed to possibly consider certain changes to the application as submitted. So, Paul, why don't you go through it?
Thank you, thank you. The previous application, the comments coming back from the board here were that it was busy, and that there were a number of French doors here that maybe didn't quite fit the historic intent. And we took that to heart. We took that seriously and went back to our drawing boards and took a hard look at what was necessary for the growth of this house to be used as a family residence throughout the year, and then what was historically significant in working through that process. The design that you see in front of you reduced the French doors by 8. So we've substantially reduced the amount of glass and enclosures there. The addition to the left of the proposed east elevation basically stayed the same. We took some of the proportions down a little bit, but with that covered porch, we did leave the French doors there as more of a colonnade and a glass front there going into a finished space beyond.
Yeah, I think that's good.
The right-hand side, we removed the addition that was projecting forward, keeping the proportions of the existing home the way it was, the way it is, and simply update what we need to update to get it to a contemporary standard. The dormers on the roof line, we had 3 2-window dormers in the previous iteration. Now we have just the 2, and keeping that center dormer as a single-window dormer. If we go to the next sheet. Here, very similar. We've, again, removed the addition that's between the 2 gable ends, sort of the back of the garage and that space to the left. Just adding some windows there, but trying to keep as much of the original intent and original volume as we possibly could. Yes?
Is that supposed to be the windows open? That second window in the bottom?
It's a panel,
Why?
so that we're keeping the trimmed space of that area and adding an awning window that happens to be in a bathroom.
Say that again?
This window's in a bathroom. So we just wanted the awning window so that we get a little bit more privacy, but wanted to keep the trim detail on the exterior similar.
Okay. You could put the window and make it modestly shielded interior, but
For a full double hung?
just a thought.
Balance
Say again?
it, to balance it.
Yeah, I said, gee, the window's open, so, you know. I went, it's certainly not a showstopper, but something, if you would consider it. This property, like most of the houses along Shore Road, they're all kind of iconic and they're big. And I know when people complain about, quotes, the McMansions, I said, well, everything on Shore Road is big, always was big, always is big, so it's not, and it's kind of a nice house, so. Anyway, just a thought, please.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
To the next sheet, please. So again, here,
Excuse me, Paul, while you're on that one, there was a circular window on there, was there not? Yeah.
Previously, we did have a circular window here. We kept a circular window on the opposite side. Again, it was a simplification.
That went over near the garage, I guess.
Yes.
right? Okay.
That circular window was from the original prints?
We know it on the garage face side, which you'll see in the next set of elevations. We kept it there.
Yeah.
But we've sort of simplified it on this backside.
So you had the original construction drawings?
We have the original drawings. It wasn't built exactly to those plans, but it was very close.
Thank you.
So here again, we've reduced a couple of French doors, just retaining the existing windows. The addition to the right-hand side stays very similar to what the original scheme was, and then simplifying, taking the addition off the top of this roof line and bringing that back down to its original ridge line. Yes?
I had said the same thing with the doors. These are sliding French doors?
These are French doors with hinges.
Okay. And I guess my comment is, on the French doors on the front, or the back, or depending on which street you're on, you did put the mullions on them.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm being so picky, but I am.
The landscape design will have a pool area outbound of this space. We're trying to keep that clear and open and as open to the view as possible.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure. And just, again, there's a trimmed covered overhang in the backside, or the sandy shoe side of the house in this inside L, and we're simply infilling that space. Roof line stays the same, and we're placing that French door in there. If we go to the next one. So here's similar detail. We've got those archways. We've got that trimmed trellis detail where we're infilling that and recreating a similar arched detail over some windows, but commandeering that space for interior space. And then as the garage develops into finished space on the interior, we've taken a harder look at the original blueprints where there was some interesting arched top garage doors and a round window. And again, trying to recreate some of those details from the original drawings is the idea here. And if you go to the next sheet, I believe we have a comparison drawing. So we've got the original archtop doors and the original blueprints. We're doing that here as well, adding a little bit of glass so that there's some light coming through into that space.
Okay. Good. All right. I think, from my perspective, we seems to have met the majority of our questions or concerns. And any other comments from any members? If not, we can get a motion to move it on and prove it. Mr. Vice Chair? Yep. We did vote in terms of historical significance already, if I recall.
He says we did not.
We did not? Okay. Thank you. Just a couple of motions.
Okay, I move the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the building located at 38 Sandy Shoes Lane is historically significant because it is in whole or in part 75 years old or more and is associated with one or more historical persons or events in the social or political history of the town, and possesses architectural value or significance in terms of period, style, and method of construction. I will add to that, in my mind, one of the historical people associated with it is my father-in-law, who came here in 1912 with his father to build Chatham Bars Inn, so.
Second.
Prices were a lot lower then, weren't they?
So I second.
Okay, we have a motion, second? Good, thank you very much, I apologize. Okay, any other comments? Members of the public wish to speak for or against? Okay, Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. All right, need another motion?
Chatham Historical Commission also finds that the proposed work to be done dated November 26, 2024 will not materially diminish the historic significance of the building, and therefore the commission does not impose demolition delay.
I'll second.
A second, thank you very much. Any other comments? Members of the public for or against? Thank you. Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. and I
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate the cooperation, and thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right. I think you're sticking around, right?
Yes.
Which one is yours? Oh, CBI? Why don't we switch? Why don't you stay? Well, let's just do that. Get it out of the way. Let somebody go back to work. Speaking of CBI, I was talking to Paul Zeus this morning, the acting manager of the, I know him, we had some activity together trying to save the boathouse, and I always loved his line. He says, let's go to lunch at Chatham Bars Inn. He said, you know, it's the best place in town to get a $25 hamburger. Paul, I'm sorry if you're listening. Okay, we have an application 24035 to be heard in accordance with Chapter 158, partial demolition, 297 Shore Road. And this application property is definitely a Form B and is not located in the National Register District. For information, this commission years ago had thought about making Shore Road a National Register District, given the number of historic properties, but I believe the discretion being the better part of valor, there was just a little too much money to fight that one. So anyway, here we are. Why don't you give us a little bit of information?
Sure thing. Paul Muldoon again, SV Design. You're representing Chatham Bars Inn, and the main inn. We have three areas of minor work here. The main patio access elevation here, the south-facing gable end, where we're intending to replace 4 double-hung windows and 4 transom windows with French doors, some side lights, and some transoms above. The idea here is to maintain the symmetry on this gable end while also creating an access point from the south lounge inside out to the patio space just beyond. Likewise, on the existing chimney, we'll replace a little bit of a shed that's there and create an outdoor fireplace that integrates into the existing brick fireplace and chimney. The grids here are similar to other areas, other French doors on the property. And as we go to the next section, if you could flip to the imagery. So here's the existing condition on that south lounge facing gable end. The shingles there are also in bad shape, so we're intending to replace the shingles on that face. And if we go to the next sheet, working our way around the structure, this is the north side on this bottom left, the harbor view room. We have existing French doors with transoms above. Our intent is to replace those essentially in kind with a door that closes well and opens well, and windows that have proper insulating value. The harbor, or the Charles Hardy room, which is on the right-hand side here, has a series of casement windows and awnings and sort of fixed transoms. We're simply taking this one section here and replacing it with a French door and transoms similar to what's happening in the harbor view room. If you go to the next sheet, you'll see that. Nope, not that one. As we work our way around the structure, here we go. So again, taking this one section of glass here, about 72 square feet, and implementing a French door with a transom up above. There'll be a new brick landing out here, a way to get out to this exterior space.
Okay. I think for those of us who took the site visit yesterday, your changes are, in my view, relatively consistent with the overall architectural design and of this iconic structure. If we ever use the word iconic, this one is.
Agreed.
1914. It was a good year. It's when they also built the Marconi property. Guillermo was here in 1914. So I don't know if he stayed there or not. But, all right, any other comments or questions from the members? Sandy? Janet? Nope. Steph? Bob? Good. I think we're pretty much all in consensus that you've done a reasonably good job here. So at this particular point, we can have a couple of motions.
Yes, this will sound familiar. I move the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the building located at 297 Shore Road is historically significant because it is in whole or in part 75 years old or more, and it's associated with one or more historical persons or events within the cultural, economic, and social history of the town, and possesses architectural value or significance in terms of period, style, and method of construction.
A second.
Thank you, Janet. Any other comments? Any members of the public wish to speak for or against the application? Seeing none. Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. One more.
Okay. Chatham Historical Commission also finds the proposed work to be done dated November 4th, 2024, will not materially diminish the historic significance of the building, and therefore the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
I'll second.
Second by Steph. Any comments? Any member of the public wish to speak for or against? Thank you. Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Back to the agenda, 9 Shattuck Place.
Morning, Jamie Klein, Klein House Lifting,
Welcome again.
here representing Harriet Prout, 9 Shattuck's Place, to put a cellar in their existing house, partial. When it did demo about 75% of the foundation to add a full basement. Chimneys to be saved, there'll be brick veneer to match existing. The existing foundation is granite, which will be removed, and it'll be all brick veneer all the way around. It'll be a full-height foundation as well.
Okay.
And that's it.
Well, this is a property that's been before us a number of times, actually. The original property was dated back to 1800, so no question of its historical integrity. And I don't think you argue that the property is historically significant. And it looks like the changes you're making will affect the foundation. Will the foundation cover, what you're going to see be exactly the same or anything different?
It's granite, the existing is granite, it'll be partial brick veneer, but the new will all be brick veneer all the way around to
Okay.
match the existing chimney and brickwork that's there.
All right, any other comments or questions, concerns?
No, I think Harriet Proud has done a fabulous job in restoring this gorgeous home and maintaining its historic significance. So thank you, Harriet.
Thank you very much. Okay. Bob?
If you want to vote,
I guess a
a motion? Okay.
Yeah.
I move the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the building located at 9 Shattuck Place is historically significant because it's in whole or in part 75 years old or more, and is associated with one or more historical persons or events in the social and political history of the town, and possesses architectural value or significance in terms of period and style.
Second.
Second? Okay, any other comments, questions, concern? Members of the public? Nope, seeing none. Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. One more.
I did not bring my copy of the plan. Can somebody give me the date that we're approving?
Oh, yeah, the date. It's July 25th, 2024.
Oh, no. Revised on September 24th,
Oh,
24.
sorry. That's what it says on there.
Okay?
Yeah. Chatham Historical Commission also finds the proposed work to be done dated September 24th, 2024 will not materially diminish the historical significance of the building, and therefore the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other comments? Public? None? Okay. Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, have a good day.
Appreciate your efforts to keep this a very beautiful, well-maintained home. Thank you. Oh, guys, I'm going to set a record here. little different than last month, huh? Okay. The next application is 52 Deep Hole Road. I got that right?
Yep.
And this is a property which is just close to our date of historical significance. We missed you yesterday morning. Was-
You know, and I
We were out
missed,
there freezing alone.
and I missed you too,
I'm
Frank.
sure.
Okay,
Good morning, Bill Riley on behalf of the Ford family. This is a classic Cape design. I think the Fords, working with the architect, have done a good job of maintaining that classic full Cape and giving themselves enough living room on the second floor so they can use the house on a year-round basis. I don't think there's much else to talk about, but I can go through the design if you want. They're adding a dormer on the front side of the building.
I don't think it's historically significant.
okay.
I agree.
Well, I would have to unfortunately tend to agree with you. It is a very charming house, and,
A lot like myself.
say again?
A lot like myself.
Yeah, okay. But I know we don't have any authority relative to the design. I just hope the neighbors are happy. It's going to be a significant structure that they're putting in there versus what was there, but that's up to the zoning board. Do you have to go to zoning?
Yes.
Okay, so they'll deal with the issues of mass and everything else relative to what's being proposed, so.
I think the mass is going to be perfect for that neighborhood.
What's the issue for zoning?
The building is non-conforming because it doesn't meet the current setbacks.
Okay, all right. All right, so we do have a situation where I think at least one of the members have spoken out relative to historic significance. Anybody, let's deal with that first. Anybody else disagree relative to it is or is not historically significant? Nope. So I guess we do have a
Yeah,
slam
since it's
dunk.
younger, Frank, it's younger than you and I, so
Say again?
it's younger than you and I.
No comment. I love, that's what the Brits say, no comment, when you're being interrogated, right? No comment. Okay,
I move the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the building located at 52 Deep Hole Road is not historically significant because it does not meet any of the definitional criteria in Section 158-2 A, B, or C of the bylaw. Therefore, the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
Second.
thank you, Janet. Any other comments? Members of the public, for or against? Seeing none. Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes,
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
The chair votes yes.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, picked a good meeting. This went quickly. All right. Last but not least, 36 Old Mail Road. This property was also marginal in the sense of age, 1945, and no Form B on the property, and obviously not listed in the National Register. So we have a property which the applicant is asking for a full demolition of the existing property and is going to be replacing it with another structure. So we could probably make this short and sweet. If there's any agreement or disagreement relative to the historical significance of the existing property, I guess I would have to agree with some of the comments that it's a very, looks like a well-maintained little house. I think, as you said, Bernadette, you know, it would be a shame we couldn't find a place for it.
Well, hopefully we will.
Yeah, well, let me introduce yourself formally.
Bernadette McLeod of Ryder and Wilcox.
Right. And during the, I think there's pretty much a general consensus, this is the existing property not historically significant. I may be wrong. But having said that, and it is a full demolition, is the applicant interested in donating the house or what?
Yes, yes, if you know anyone who wants it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great little house, but it's not going to serve them for a year-round residence. And the bedrooms are
Understand.
tiny, and they tried to go up, and the foundation's bad. And by the time you try to lift it and pour and renovate, it's just too costly. And they found a house that they love down in the village, and they want to replicate it, and it's adorable. And I made some renderings. It's down on Cross Street, and I think it'll be really nice on that site.
Yeah. Could we impose upon the applicant to advertise it?
Well, we have to go to ZBA.
Say again?
So we have to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and so the earliest that anything would be done would be next fall.
Of course,
So
but it takes
they
time.
have plenty of time to advertise it and try to find a home for it if anybody, needs a,
Yeah.
it's just finding somebody to move it. And, I'll call Klein and, I know the person that was interested in it. She said she made several calls, but I'll follow through with her because
I
I know
appreciate
she
that.
really wanted it. And if anybody, where do you advertise?
Pardon?
Where do you advertise?
Well, just the Chronicle, you'd be
The
surprised.
Chronicle? Oh, yeah. I
You know,
mean,
it's one of these things, that the community is
Yeah.
stressed right now with living accommodations, and,
well, maybe the town has a piece of land that they can move it to. It's a great little house.
Yeah, well,
It's a great little house for somebody, for one person, or two people. I mean, it's adorable inside.
yeah. All right, well, if
I mean,
you
I would move it for my daughter if I had someplace to move it to.
can't put it in my backyard, but it's, yeah, so that would be good. So we'd appreciate that cooperative effort to try and help this issue. So, well, let's address the issue very simply. Do anybody feel the property is historically significant? No. Okay, so we can deal with it quickly. Robert?
I move that the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the building located at 36, Old Mill Road, is not historically significant because it does not meet any of the definitional criteria in Section 158-2, A, B, or C of the bylaw. Therefore, the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
Second.
Thank you very much. Any member of the public have any comments? Any members of the board? Thank you. Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you very much. So when is full time? When the house is completed?
Oh, well, he retires in 2 years, so.
All right. Hopefully by then, she's done. Well, anyway, well, thank you very much. Well, to become citizens of Chatham, we do have two positions open on the Historical Commission. I'm making a hard push here, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe our sister-in-law, she might be a good.
There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we set a record with a half hour. No, we're not finished. No such luck. Okay. The next is the new business review and possible approval of the Atwood House restoration of the paintings, CPA request for historical preservation funding. This is a CPC application, and for members of the public, understand what's going on. When an applicant applies to the Community Preservation Committee for funds, Community Preservation Act funds for historical restoration, the Community Preservation Commission, CPC Committee, rather, asks that the Historical Commission opine and take a motion relative to the historical significance of the application of what's being restored and approval or not of the applicant. We don't give the final approval. It's just advisory to the CPC. Welcome, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Frank. Good morning, Kevin Wright, Executive Director of the Chatham Historical Society. Thank you for taking time this morning to hear me talk about one of our treasures at the museum, the Alice Stolnick murals. They were painted in the 1930s and 40s So they're closing in on 100 years when they were done. We were looking at getting them cleaned and getting an estimate to how to get them cleaned. And through that process, we realized, as you can see to the right up there and to the left, they're starting to peel and they need to be restored. They were restored originally back over 50 years ago, but it's a huge project. We're requesting through CPA over $400,000 for this entire project, which is probably a 2-year project. It would probably start, depending on our funding, would start in the end of, would start next fall in 2025, and then completed in the spring of 2027, so not to disrupt the museum when it's open during prime season. We reached out to NEMA, which is the New England Museum Association, to get recommendations for conservators to come and give us an estimate. They recommended 2 local conservators out of Eastham, Deborah Dickinson. She's the main person who would be doing the restoration. She put together a lot of the projects for that. And then we're also looking at Carrie Thomas from Back Bay Framery, because the frames that we have on there, they're good, but the way they were put together 50 years ago, it makes no sense to try to take them apart and put them together. They were nailed into the actual canvas. So a lot of that stuff needs to be redone. So this turns into a huge project. We are also, in addition, reaching out to, I've requested about 5 different $25,000 grants each for different funding opportunities to help cover the cost of this, because I have no idea how much money you get from CPA and all that kind of stuff. So I do believe this is something that needs to be taken care of, because as you can see, these are one of the most important historical paintings in the community, and to not take and not address it would be a shame. And we really feel that being able to get this done will preserve them for the next 100 years, and that's their goal. And that's where I stand. So.
Well, thank you very much, Kev. 400K is the total you're asking for?
416,000, I believe.
That's a big ask. And
It is a big
they
ask.
have to deal with it. I'm
Yes.
looking over at our representative to the CPC. But I think what we want to deal with first, and just to very quickly, are we, this is going to be a little bit unusual for, between you and I, the CPC's gotten a little bit picky the last few years. And that's good, I guess. I'm saying right now to the public. And in terms of the definition of what restoration is versus maintenance, and the issue of restoring or not. So the first question really is, are we dealing with an historically significant structure or item? And that's really, the comment. How do we feel about it, and how do we want to deal with it? So I'll walk around the room here and see how we go. Steph,
I think that we should grant this.
you feel that they're historically significant?
Absolutely.
Janet?
Yes, I think it is, restoration is different than maintenance, and because of the level of expertise, and we have so many visitors that come to Chatham on top of the people that live here. I think it's an important, to our community to do this. I really do.
So you feel
I would
they feel
support it.
they are historically significant?
Historical significance, yes.
Okay. Sandy?
I think they're very historically significant, and I think we should really get behind this project.
Thank you. Robert?
Yeah, I think they're historically significant. Kevin, can you tell me what the size of these are?
They're varied sizes. So if you've been into the murals before, it's not your typical murals where it's all one big painting. It's individual paintings. The triptych at the back of Christ Preaching to the Multitude, that's from pretty much ceiling to floor, and there's 3 of them. They're huge. The other ones, they're around 4 foot by 6 foot, but they vary in different sizes. So
I've seen this, but not recently.
Sure.
So what I'm looking at Could you just give me an idea of the size of that?
Well, it looks like what she did was she took pictures of some of these and zoomed in on a partial. So that's just like a portion of one of the 4 by
It's at
6
least
foot
2 foot
paintings.
square, what you're looking
It's
at.
a square, yeah.
They're not small.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
They're
blown
big.
up, but they're definitely, if you can picture a 6 foot by 4
Yeah.
foot
Yeah, they're big. They're
painting.
quite-
And this is just a piece of it, you know, that
sort of
they've
the size
zoomed
of
in.
the curtains behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some are larger, some are smaller, but most of them are around close to that size, yes.
Okay, well, I wish you well. I'm going to stop by and take a look at them.
Yeah, thank you.
Great.
Bob?
I don't have any problems with it, with the interest of full disclosure. My wife is on Kevin's board, so.
No.
She is?
Well,
Yes. no,
Okay.
And she's great, thank you.
all right. Yeah, I agree with everything that's being said, but I just felt I wanted to say it in case we get that question coming up, you know, and I can forward to the CPC a firm, you know, unanimous position of the commission. I'm trying to pull it out to get you to say, yes, it is historically significant. But, you know, looking at it, and I've been watching the NPR series upon Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo and talking about the restoration of some of the works from the, you know, 12th, 13th century and what they do to restore these things. So it is significant, and
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it is amazing, and the goal is to put a protective glazing on them. So, you know, if you remember, students a few years back who went in and threw paint on, I don't know if it was the Mona Lisa or whatever it was, but luckily they had theirs protected. Ours at this particular time, in addition to needing the restoration, aren't necessarily protected. So that's included in this entire proposal. So.
I do have one comment, a question in reading, it's quite interesting to read this, was the issue of the environment. Now, that barn is not environmentally controlled.
That's correct.
It's open to the public, which is good and bad, and it also, the door opens and closes a lot. You know, so was there any thought of attempting to control the environment of that room?
No, not at this point. We did talk to the restoration person, Deborah Dickinson, and, you know, remarkably, you know, which is kind of weird, that most people that come in and look at the paintings, they remark about, oh, look at how beautiful these look, until you get up close, like she did, you know.
I know.
But no, there hasn't been a major concern. We do a little bit more, you know, lectures in that room now, and we also have events where sometimes the doors are open, but we're well aware that it's not like a MFA museum environment, you know, but it's a historical
Yes.
barn for sure. So.
Okay. All right, so I guess the motion, really very simple, could be relative to agreeing that the artifacts in question are in fact historically significant, and approve the application. So, Robert?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, that
Oh,
Robert.
sorry.
Okay. I'm going to parrot what I said.
Bob.
Bob, either one.
Yes,
Too many Bobs.
I approve.
Okay. So we basically have a motion or affirming the historical significance of the artifacts in question, and instructing the chairman to write a correspondence to the CPC on that, in that approval. So we'll take a quick roll call. Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Frank? Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good luck. I'll get that out. When do you go before CPC?
I believe the 16th of this month.
Okay. I'll try and get it out before the meeting. Unfortunately, I did the last one the day of the meeting, and
We got it.
I know you got it, but I was kidding around. I felt like I was in high school. Sunday night, oh, I didn't do my assignment. Got to get it out. Okay, here we go. This is moving along pretty good here. I have a couple of quick announcements, nothing big deal. I'm still waiting for Director of Community Development to move forward with the statement of work RFP process to update our Form As and Bs in accordance with our updated recommendations. So that's Moving along, I will just ask her again. The preparation of the determination of eligibility to Mass Historic on the Nickerson Archaeological Site. There's a meeting tomorrow. I'm meeting with the Conservation Foundation, the Historical Commission, Bob and myself, and Nickerson Family Association relative to their concerns relative to the title of the application as it relates to the indigenous people who were there a couple thousand years before Mr. Nickerson. So hopefully we'll resolve that tomorrow and then move forward with that submission. I would like to ask a formal vote from the commission, assuming there's a satisfactory discussion tomorrow between Bob and I and the Conservation Foundation. I would like to move forward with submitting that DOE to Mass Historic.
You want to do that before you have the meeting?
Say again?
Do you want to do that before, do you want to have a vote before the meeting, or do you want to do it at the next meeting?
The only issue of the meeting is the discussion of the title.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's it,
okay.
okay?
I think it might go beyond the title.
I'd do afterward.
That's why I'm
You think so?
somewhat
wait.
concerned, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think so.
I think there's some content in the draft which is of concern to the
Controversial.
foundation.
Yeah.
well, I'm disappointed to hear that after all this time, but so be it. Okay, moving right along. The boathouse is moving along, and they finished the work at 90 Bridge Street, and hopefully that will see that sucker return. I was kidding around before my conversation with Paul Zewis this morning. That's how I met Paul, when we first started to try and save the boathouse. Boy, it seems like yesterday. The demolition by neglect, Steph, I keep nudging or asking the new plan to put it on our list, so hopefully we'll get to it relatively in short in 2025. We'll see. I provide an update to the select board tonight at 5:30. I think I haven't done it in like 4 years because they just weren't doing it. So we do have a copy of a summary of my comments. And not receive any comments back from folks, so we'll move forward on that. Under Chairman's report, I wanted just to comment on the protection of archaeological resources in sensitive areas. There's a meeting of the Conservation Commission on Wednesday, and the subject happens to be Zero Cross Winds Farm. A butter spoke to us about a month or so ago about her concerns, and I think I reported subsequent to that, the landowner of the property they're considering a major addition of a new home on this property, which is adjacent to the Nickerson family cemetery and the Nickerson archaeological site. Well, adjacent within, hundreds of feet, but the Nickerson estate or the Nickerson homestead was quite a large piece of property. And luckily, the owner was someone who was sensitive to the archaeological sensitivity of his property, and he engaged Craig Cartier to do an archaeological dig on this property, a couple of sites, and they have uncovered Indian artifacts and other colonial artifacts, which is this all about. You can't say no, but you certainly could know where you're building the house, ensure you're not disturbing grave sites, et cetera, et cetera. So the issue here was this is just very astute homeowners who asked that somebody consider it, but there's nothing in our town bylaws. In speaking with the conservation agent for the Chatham Conservation Commission, there are some communities that have protective bylaws which add to the Conservation Commission guidelines that when you do dig, if you are in an archaeologically sensitive area, and we happen to know that because fortunately, our good friend Don Aikman, who's not with us now, we did that survey and we know the areas in town which potentially could be archaeologically sensitive. So not that we have anything to do, but I'm hoping once we get the Nickerson thing behind us, we could potentially find a way to consider assisting the other boards on some kind of a bylaw. That's pretty much it. Nothing has changed with the Monomoy property. We're waiting a decision on that. And, one last thing, just point from a chairman's perspective. Nancy Barr, who's kind of busy lady, has taken upon herself with Christina to take a look at the existing Historical Commission website and provide comments of things which need to be updated or could be added. I would ask you all to take a look at it if you haven't in some time, and just take a look at it and give back to me and Nancy any comments if you think something should be updated or changed. And everything else, these things get dated if you don't update the information. And that's it for me, folks. Any other business? Nope.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting for December 3rd, 2024.
Second.
Okay, we set a record, less than an hour, but that's good. 40 minutes. Bob?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you much.